Grift Rivals is done. I'm joined right now by Bjergsen after an unfortunate loss against Fnatic to talk about the event and more. Of course, this coverage brought to you by Alienware. So, Bjergsen, what went wrong for TSM today?
Ooh, a lot of things, not just one thing, obviously. We lost 2 games, and they were both pretty rough games. There was a little bit more hope in the second game, but we fell behind, and then it was hard to deal with their team comp once they were able to kind of group up. And if we were to be ahead, then they would have a lot of squishy champs, and they would have a hard time kind of retaking and playing the map because we had a lot of engage to punish them. But we fell behind, and we just kind of got sieged to death and made a lot of mistakes. So, yeah, it's a pretty rough day today.
Well, last night at the Live Hotline League, we had a pretty long discussion with some of the NA guys and some of the EU guys about what North American can take away from this event, if anything. And I'm kind of curious what your take is like, was this event helpful for our region? Is there anything we can learn from it?
I mean, of course, there's things to be learned from it. I think TL was the only team that really showed much of good play. I think even the game we won against Fnatic was kind of it wasn't a great game, and it's hard to say if we would have won it Broxa played, because I think Dan had an off game, and Broxa plays well pretty consistently. So I can't really start saying all the things that we're going to improve on, because obviously there's many, and I think that some are really obvious to the fans and some are more obvious to the players from scrimming against these teams or just the feeling of playing against the European teams, and especially how much they push you to react and how much they kind of pull the NA teams around the map, I feel like. But I mean, I'm happy to see TL doing well still, and I would have liked if that was my team, but we have a lot of things to work on, especially with consistency, because a lot of games half of our games we didn't even get out of the first 5 minutes of the game without being down thousands of gold. So long road ahead of us for Worlds if we make it there.
I know there's a lot of chatter about EU teams like trolling or not tryharding or whatever, but then there's also a lot of discussions around. You've been in so much of my content this week. You have to come into this one too?
I agree.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
No. I can just walk out, and it can just be a Doublelift interview all of a sudden.
No. That's
Let me ask the goddamn questions. Dude, what do you think about that matchup, Azir Vagar, man? That was
a free matchup.
Why did your jungler walk through a ward that you knew was there and then get counter ganked?
No comment.
No, I'm just trolling.
We are working on it.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Travis, come back. I asked 2 hard-hitting questions, honestly.
You just wanted to flame him? That was it? That's the whole point of that cameo? I'm sorry. I'll never let him do that again. How dare he? All right. Anyway, no, but we were talking a lot about Europe trolling and whether or not these games count and all. Do you feel like, this was a creative playstyle thing where now North America's like, whoa, we should try some of this more unconventional stuff, or was it all just them fucking with us?
Some of it was trolling, and I think some of it is more serious. I think that some of the things that G2 are good, and some of the things are to show off, and some of that backfired as well. So I think you can kind of tell. I think that when they're doing the like the Yasuo Pike bot lane against us with Origin, that was actually not bad, I think, and that's something that we didn't react to well during the game. But some of the really all-out things that they're playing, like Zed bot lane, I don't know how real that is, and I don't necessarily think that the crazy picks are what makes EU better. But it's definitely something that you have to respect in draft, and it feels like they can play so many different things, and you can see 4 different champions, but you don't know where any of these champions are going, especially against a team like G2. It's really hard to draft against, so I think that it's definitely motivating the NA teams to be kind of more flexible in the drafts and have more opportunities to move picks around and kind of make it hard for the enemy to win draft, because I think in NA there's a lot of just like, we're just trying to get an okay draft. We're trying to get a draft that we're comfortable and happy with and something that we practice, but the EU teams are willing to do crazy stuff to kind of throw us off and actually take chances in draft to win the draft, not just get something to play like 5 champions that you know how to play.
Real talk, because I asked this question a little bit beforehand and got mixed answers, but now that the event is done, was this valuable for us? Was this better than just week 5 of the LCS?
Yeah, I think anytime you get your ass slapped, it's valuable because there's a lot of things to learn, and I think that definitely our team got our asses slapped, so we have a good amount of things to take away, a lot of scrims to learn from, and games on stage to learn from, so I think it's really valuable for us, and hopefully it'll help us moving forward, and we can make some adjustments in the next couple weeks.
Are you confident that you'll be able to get the practice you need? Because one of the other big conversations that went on with the show last night is just like, none of the NA teams outside of maybe the top three are able to perform at the levels of the European teams here. And so there's a conversation around, well, how much of that prevents you guys from getting the practice that you need to, go beyond where you're at right now?
Yeah, but I think as some of the top teams in the region, you can innovate and you can level up your team so that the other teams are learning from you, and it kind of gradually improves the overall skill of the region. So I don't think that it's an excuse that we don't have a T2 or a Fnatic or Origin to scrim every week. We can learn from these games. There's a ton of things to learn from our scrims still, and you can learn by even watching these teams, watching the international teams play. And now there's also Pro View, so it's easier to learn from the individual players, like learning how the mid laner might think or how the top laner might think during laning phase or during mid game. You can tell a lot from just watching kind of their perspective and what they're looking out for. So I don't think it's much of an excuse. I think that NA does need to step it up as a whole to do better at future tournaments.
Well, I won't hold you up too much longer, especially because I'm sure you're done now. You're ready to head out. Is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Sorry for letting you guys down. I want to make it up to you the next chance I get, and I think the next chance I get is these next 5-6 weeks of the LCS and the playoffs. So hopefully we can make you guys proud there and do better going into Worlds than we did here at Rift Rivals.
Well, thank you so much for the interview, Bjergsen. Best of luck going into week 5 of LCS next week. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Well, we might not have won Rift Rivals, but you can still be a winner by going to alienware.com/Travis and selecting an amazing piece of hardware from their site. You can use code Travis10 off to save some money. I do hear a little rumor that they're doing something in the summer around a sale thing. So anyway, check that out.